what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a cut crease on a hooded eye. Now I have hooded eyes, I know they can be tricky, so I'm gonna help you guys out with a couple of my tips that I like to do to get a cut crease on a hooded eye. So if you're interested in seeing that, do keep watching. Let's get into it. Okay, so the palette that I'm going to be working from today is just kind of like my life palette that I created myself. It's got some Makeup Geek and some Anastasia eyeshadows in here. I'll make sure that I list everything that I use, but of course you can use whatever you have. Just use the techniques in this video and then you can just use whatever shadows you've got. So as you can see, I already have my base on and I've set that with a setting powder. So now I'm going to just jump straight into eyeshadow, and I'm going to start out by just running this through the crease. Now, as I always say, what you want to do is make sure that you bring the eyeshadow right out here, because with hooded eyes, that is the space that everyone sees. So that's where you kind of want to make sure you have product. A lot of people kind of put it in the crease here and then it disappears as soon as they open their eye. So make sure that you are just going slightly above your crease. You'll also want to bring it right into the inner corner, almost joining up with your nose contour. This is also going to be on show, so you want to make sure it's nice and blended and you've got all your shadows sort of in there. If you haven't applied these techniques before, it may seem really weird. Like, I know a lot of people don't really like to have eyeshadow right out near the tail of their brow, but I promise you, once you get used to it, you actually look back at photos before you started doing this and you're like, what was I thinking? Like, this has changed my life. I'm like, yeah. It's so good, especially if you have hooded eyes. This space here is literally so important because that's all people see really most of the time, unless you're looking down or whatever. Now what you want to do is deepen that up a little bit. So this shade is more going into the crease here. So again, you just want to apply it a little bit above your crease, because when my fold comes over, you can still see it there. So just a little bit above, and keep your eye open, don't close it, because then you're really going to see where your crease is. So now I'm just sort of mapping out my crease, and it's almost a faux crease because with hooded eyes you kind of don't have a crease, you have more of a fold. So you want to just go above that. And you can see that I am taking it right in here, because again, that's what people are going to see. Now it may seem a little weird like I said before, but I promise you when everything comes together, it's going to look great. It's going to look normal. And I'm always flicking everything towards the tail of my brow, so it just has that nice fade off. And again, when you bring shadow out towards the tail of your brow, it kind of elongates the eye and lifts it. And something that you absolutely never want to do is drag your eyeshadow down, because if you're going down like this, it's going to drag your eye down. So you're always wanting to lift your eye as much as possible. That's always going to make you look more awake. It's going to make you look more youthful. You always just want to go against gravity, because gravity is always doing us a disservice and dragging everything down. You don't want to help it out. You want to try and stop gravity and make it an illusion that everything is nice and lifted. Also make sure that you adapt all of these techniques that I'm teaching you right now to your eye shape. Now, hooded eyes isn't just one eye shape. There are so many different types of hooded eyes, so make sure that you're really mapping out your eye. So what I like to do is kind of just relax my face, and you can already see that here, here, and here are kind of my highlighted spots. That's where I have everything on show. And then right about here is where my hood really is the most dominant. So I really like to sort of stick to deepening and adding definition on the inner and outer corners. And then I like to leave this area here light, because I feel like it highlights the eye and makes it look a little more almond shaped and a little more lifted. You'll notice too that I also haven't done a really harsh line. Now most people, when they do a cut crease, they get a really thin brush and they draw a line. Now for beginners, that's a little bit hard to get the line perfect, and you'll notice for me, I'm actually using a blending brush and I am actually blending everything, before I'm then going to go in and create the crease, which is what we're going to do right now. Now to cut my crease, I'm going to be using MAC's Soft Ochre Paint Pot. You can also use a concealer if you do not have something like this. So what I'm going to do is pop it on my brush, and you want to make sure that your brush is really thin and you're able to get a nice line. You don't want anything too fluffy. You kind of want it to be flat. And I'm going to start right in this inner part here because like I said before, this is what people are going to see. So I'm going to start right in the inner corner here. And very lightly, I'm going to draw it right over the top of this fold here. So you'll see a crease now. You just want to go ahead and fill that in. So going over the crease just helps you map out a faux crease, if you know what I mean. And you'll notice I'm keeping my eye open for most of this because that's going to give you a better idea of where exactly your hood is and help you to create the shape that you want while your eye is open, because most of the time when you're talking to people and you're going about your day, your eye is going to be open. So you want it to look good with an open eye before a closed eye. And then you can go ahead and close your eye, fill in over that little line. And this is where you can start to round out the lid. So you can see that it goes straight across and then rounds down. I always find looking down into a mirror helps at this point as well. So at this point you should be looking a little something like this, and now what we want to do is go in with a defining brush and really define that crease. A lot of people will define that crease with the concealer. However, I find that sometimes it's a little bit hard because of our hooded eyes. There's a lot more skin moving around and it's very hard to get a really sharp, clean line. If you can do it with your concealer, that's awesome. But if you can't, this is what I do. I'm just going to take a little angled brush, and what I'm going to do is grab a dark color, and then we're just really going to define that crease. And I'm going to focus this on the areas that I spoke about before. So this outer part, and use a really light hand for this. Now the great thing about having an angled brush is that you can turn it like this. So we were previously working this way. I'm now going to flip it that way, and I'm going to put the edge in the crease and then do windshield motions back and forth. And this is going to blend everything in the crease but nothing on the lid. Okay, now you should be left with something a little like this. And what you can do from here is either go ahead and pop on a lid color, so you could do glitter or a pop of color, foil shadow. So you could literally do anything you like. The world is your oyster. Go for it. Now that you have the crease done, you literally can just do whatever you want. For today, I am just going to leave it plain and add a wing. So what I'm going to do is set this, because we've just put the Soft Ochre Paint Pot right onto our lid. We have to set it, otherwise it's going to slide around and ruin everything we've just done. So I'm literally just going to set that by pressing some sort of bone colored shadow right onto the lid. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my wing, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, so that is it. That is everything with the lashes, the liner, and of course the cut crease. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that it's helped some of you out, because I know having hooded eyes can be a little bit tricky sometimes, and we have to do things a little bit differently to those who are blessed with just perfect lids. I often get eyelid envy when I see someone who just has this perfect eyelid that can just take on any look with ease. But sometimes I know that it can be really tricky to do a cut crease or anything too complicated with a hooded eye if you don't know how to do the technique. So I really hope that these techniques in this video have helped you. If they did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with another hooded eyed friend, help a sister out, and subscribe if you are not already. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other techniques that you guys want to see for hooded eyes, or any tips and tricks that you guys might want to see from me. Do let me know. I hope that you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video, if not sooner. Bye!